watch your media on. I'm a day ahead of usual this week. It is Thursday, and I am here with this week's AEW Dynamite Wrestling Review. Can you believe it? I can't, but the way I see it, I was finished the review in the morning. It was a really easy show to watch, so the review was just, I felt like it was just easy. It just wrote itself, and really, I need to start toying with Thursdays, because Thursdays might be a much better day to go live than Fridays. If I go live on a Thursday, like right now, as I speak, half the people that watch AEW Dynamite probably have not even seen the show yet or seen the results or anything, so this is striking while the iron's hot. This is striking while the iron is as hot as it possibly can be. I don't think I can get this show out any earlier without staying up all night and recording it at 6 in the morning. So here we are, 1 week from Crossroads, which is the name of the next edition of Dynamite, which we have been told. And we are 10 days from the Revolution pay-per-view. Things are building up this week. We're building to a pay-per-view. We're building to a special event next week, which is the same week as the pay-per-view. So next week, we've got a special episode of Dynamite, which is called The Crossroads. And then, like 3 days later, we've got the Revolution pay-per-view on the 7th. That's really going to be quite a big week of AEW. And as if that's not enough next week, we have also got the launch of the new AEW show, which is going to be hosted by the Big Show, Paul frickin' White. Can you believe that? Paul White has joined the AEW. That blew me away. Like when I seen the announcement yesterday for Paul White joining AEW, like most people that seen it, I was like, is this a joke? Is this fake? Is this a real thing? But and yeah, it was real. Paul White, the Giant, the Big Show, has joined AEW, and yeah, the show he's going to be on, that starts next Monday. He will also be on next week's Dynamite as well. I thought he was going to be on this week's Dynamite. I think a lot of people probably thought he was going to be on this week's Dynamite, but he wasn't. So we'll just get that out of the way. And yeah, as I am recording this on a Thursday and not a Friday, the Wednesday night television ratings are not out yet. They simply are not known to anyone. So if you want to know the Wednesday night ratings for NXT and AEW, because I post them both every week, follow the Voice Britannia Twitter account, and it will be posted round about, say, 9 PM UK time this evening, because that's when they come out. It's UK time, and so what's that, 9/8/7/6/5/4. So it comes out around 4 o'clock New York time, 4 PM New York time. It's about 9 PM our time here in the UK. Keep an eye on Twitter, follow Voice Britannia. As soon as it's out, I will post the results, the breakdown, the graph, and I will give a little bit of information that backs up the stats and give my view on where I think the stats are going. I mean, if I'm going to predict the stats last week's stats, NXT got quite a bump last week. I would imagine they're going to be in around the 700k area again. Dynamite, I've got no idea where Dynamite's ratings could be this week. Like, it's a crapshoot at best. I would think they're probably around 800, because last week was a really good show. This week they advertised some good stuff for this show, so I'm going to say around 800k totals, but it could easily be in the 700. We could easily see them tying with NXT. Going by last week's, we could easily see NXT beating them. I don't really know what happened with last week's stats, but they happened. They were there, they happened. We'll see what happens. Anything we say just now is speculation, so sometimes you're just better to wait. So let's get to tonight's AEW Dynamite show, because, like I said, I thought this was a really good show tonight. I thought it wasn't as good as last week's in some ways, but it was better than last week's in other ways, which we will get to. So we started this week with Jon Moxley versus the Hollywood hunk Ryan Nemeth. Now, on Ryan Nemeth, I just want to say that it has only taken 3 weeks for me to feel like he has been at AEW from the start. It's like he should have always been there from the start. It's like he feels like he has came home to AEW and his place was always there. It is amazing. I think it's amazing how smoothly Ryan Nemeth has just like slotted into AEW as if it was nothing. He knows his character. He knows his role. He knows what he's supposed to be doing there and where his position is. And I feel that AEW hiring Nemeth was a very good move, as he's not only quite good, he's all right in the ring. He's good. He knows his role in the ring, and he's also quite good at the non-wrestling stuff. He's a good talker. He can do interviews. He can do managing side of things. There's a lot of upside from him, and he's really good to have in that role of getting beat, because he does a great job of it. What's to lose there? So this match was a classic. I say classic because we've seen, like, I think 3 of these now. A classic John Moxley squash. John doesn't let people squash people. He doesn't let people just be squashed. He lets them have some offense. He likes to show that the people he is fighting have a reason to be fighting him. Because if they couldn't get anything in, there'd be no point in them fighting him. It just makes everyone look bad. So yeah, there was some good stuff here. Nemeth got some offense in, but at the end of the day, Moxley just owned the shit out of him. He won with a paradigm shift. It was a good, simple, easy match. Nemeth lost, Moxley won. After the match, we got another great in-ring promo from Moxley, and then, man, by hell am I stoked for the the exploding barbed wire match. And he seems really stoked for this barbed wire match too, or the exploding barbed wire match. Now, Moxley goes on this promo, he says how he's addicted to the violence and this sort of the gory side of wrestling. And you know what? I can relate to Moxley when it comes to the death matches and the more gory side of wrestling. This is always a side of wrestling I have had a weird soft spot for. And this is the one type of wrestling match that I've always said that even today, if someone came to me and was like, Steve, do you want to come back to wrestling? We want you to do some sort of hardcore death match sort of thing. We need someone that looks like you that can't really wrestle that well to be in a death match. I would, yes, like hell yes, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, I've just got a really weird thing for deathmatch wrestling. I've always loved it, and when I did train as a wrestler, I'd always wanted the chance to do it, but I never did. It's not something I really too caught up about, but I would have always liked the chance to have got bloodied up, tangled in barbed wire, and all that sort of weird shit. So I can relate to Moxley when he says he likes this sort of stuff and he's addicted to it. I think he's a fan of the death match wrestling. So this match was good. The promo was out of this world. I mean, I think everyone knows that Moxley's awesome at this point. He was awesome. The promo was great. And it's like, it's just a case of moving on with the show. It's like, it is what it is. Now, 1 second. My lights are getting way too bright today. I'm getting flooded out. Believe it or not, I'm getting flooded out by the sun, which is behind me. The sun in Aberdeen, Scotland. But I digress. Next tonight, we had a backstage promo with Archer and Phoenix. Of course, I forgot to use the images. We will get there in the end. 1 week, I will remember to do a picture for everything I take a picture for. Next, we had a backstage promo. A very quick backstage promo with Archer and Phoenix. Now, they said this was recorded last week to build for this week's main event. Fair enough. Alex comments that the two of them have quite good chemistry as a team. They've been really good in the last few weeks. So obviously, they've been teamed up with Moxley a few times, and it's all been good. Archer goes on to tell him that the reason they're a killer team is because of the Murder Hawk monster. It's all his fault. It's all his doing. He takes the blame. It is Archer's reason they are such a good team. Now, Phoenix starts replying in Spanish, which annoys Lance Archer. He's like, what's he saying? What's he saying? Translate it. It gets translated, and he tells Archer that, yeah, Phoenix has just said that you're the worst tag team partner he has ever had, which is quite comical. The two men just start fighting about now. It was quite funny. It was fun. It built to the main event tonight. The main event tonight is actually quite a high stakes match. It was for a place in the Face of the Revolution ladder match at the Revolution pay-per-view, but this is what it is. This did not need to be any more than it was. It was a perfect little segment to build to tonight's main event. I like this. Now, 1 second. I'm just going to close this curtain behind me. That is a lot better. Even in Aberdeen, Scotland, we get annoyed by the sun. So, We see the Bucks' parents enter the arena. They come in with mum and dad Buck. They take some pictures. So, I mean, this is all very nice and that. This is all setting up for an angle later on in the show, which adds some tension to the tag team match at Revolution between Jericho and MJF and the Bucks, which, in my opinion, has been built pretty terribly, actually. So it's good to have something from this. So yeah, you see the Bucks and their mum and dad enter. They walk past like a truck. So like AEW's got loads of trucks for when they actually begin touring or whatever. The trucks have got the Young Bucks painted on the back of them, so they're taking pictures behind the trucks with their parents. Everyone's looking proud. It's all very nice. This leads into our next match. It was Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, which I have wrote Brian Cake for some reason, versus the Varsity Blondes. Right off the bat, this match was a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. I expected a bit of a squash here. I expected Cage and Starks to just run over the Blondes with no problem. But instead we got quite a decent match, and the Varsity Blondes got a lot of time to shine on this. It was good. As the entrances were happening, we got to see the video of Cage powerbombing Sting again. It's like, shh. Oh, it's never hard to watch. I don't like seeing Sting getting powerbombed, especially knowing the injuries he's had on his back. So he's fine, he's walking about, but it's tough to watch. That's the whole point of it. It's not supposed to be nice to watch. It's wrestling. People get hurt. That's the drama of it. So as a team, and I mean as singles competitors, the Varsity Blondes are really, really growing on me. Pillman is great, and it turns out Garrison is really, really quite good as well. Not only that, but they're young, they're fresh, they're baby-faced, they've got nothing but upside here, and they've got really good chemistry together as a team. They had the upper hand for most of the first portion of the match until Cage managed to powerbomb Pillman into the ring post outside the ring, which looked freaking savage. From this point on, Pillman took an absolute beating from Starks and then Cage. Cage just did the usual stuff, showing off his strength. He did some bicep curls with Brian Pillman, so he's holding Brian Pillman, does that. It was insane. Oh, 1 second, the door. Sorry about that. Sod's Law, I go live on a Thursday and we start getting parcels delivered and everything. I do apologise for that. This is the bonus of recording at home during a fucking pandemic. Things like this happen. And you got my first F-bomb of the show. Great. So, let's try and get back into this. Varsity had the upper hand in the first portion of the match, which I have talked about. And this led to Cage and Starks getting the better of Starks. No, sorry. This led to Cage and Starks getting the better of Pillman. Pillman was doing bicep curls with Starks. It was quite impressive. Garrison eventually got the hot tag and run wild. He almost killed himself with a suicide dive. It was a good dive, but man, it looked slightly reckless. I'm not complaining because it looked good and it was entertaining. This was a really fun, and Garrison looked really good. The Blonde's got a 2.5 count after his fire up, but it was not long after that Starks and Cage fought back and took control again. Cage then hit Cage, so like the finish sequence was quite good the way it was done. It just came just after this 2.5 count. Everyone was getting up. What happened is Cage didn't hit Garrison. Starks hit Garrison with a spear. This was followed by Cage hitting Pillman and then hitting the drill claw on Pillman for the win. It was a really nice little finishing sequence. I quite enjoyed it. This was a decent tag match. No bad things in this at all. It was just fun. Varsity, whilst being on the losing side of the match again, were made to look really good. Again, this is like the second or third time this has happened in one of their tag matches on Dynamite. They go in, everyone thinks they're going to get squashed, but no, they're actually allowed to have a really competitive match, and they look really good. And I mean, this is good for the tag team side of things in general, because if you've got strong teams like the Varsity Blondes who look like they're going to get that win soon enough because they're a really good team, they just have been unlucky, then they're the perfect sort of team you want in every match, because you always think that this could be the match they're actually going to win. And that is what you want, because it's drama. It adds drama to the viewer, and it adds that little thing, that little element to the match. It's like, oh, we might see a surprise. And that's what it's all about. So after the match, and after everything cooled down, the lights go out, the arena goes dark, and we see one of these really, really weird Darby Allin black and white videos playing on the screen. So it's really quite cool. First of all, we see Sting's hand. I don't think I can get the shot here on this camera, but you see Sting's hand driving a wheel. So he's like driving a car, but you can just see it's Sting's hand because of the glove. Behind the car, they're dragging a body bag, it's getting dragged along the ground. Clearly, there's someone in it, and it's going to be Darby Allin. It is. You see the body bag opening up, and then Darby Allin pops out of it, face painted, and he's got his belt. Then he sits up, and you see him with this, as you can see the image above on screen here. He's got the biggest cheesy grin on his face I have ever seen. And I mean, I don't think I've actually ever seen Darby Allin smile on TV. He's only ever just been like moody, you know? He's like an emo. He doesn't smile. He's just all emotional. But in this one, he just pops out the bag and he gets this shot. And it's like, Darby, where's the smile been? You look like such a happy guy after being dragged in a body bag by Sting in a car. Okay, so, I mean, it's weird, but I like this. I really like that. I popped for Darby smiling. I was like, man, what a winning smile that guy's got. And then, straight after we see Darby smiling on the screen, the snow starts falling in the arena. We see the Crow, and Sting starts to make his entrance. Now, Sting's like hobbling along. I thought he was limping at first. I was like, what's Sting doing? Oh, spoilers. I was like, what's Sting doing? Is he got a limp? But then it's like he's dragging something. And I was like, oh, he's dragging Darby. I thought this was going to be like a really, really cool entrance. I thought he was dragging Darby Allin in a body bag onto the stage, which, in terms of tag team entrances, like Sting dragging his tag team partner into the ring in a body bag and to get out would be pretty damn epic, if you ask me. I thought that was going to be awesome. I was going to pop hard if Darby Allin came out of that bag. But no, it turned out it was Hook in the bag. Sting and Darby Allin have managed to get Hook, beat him up, put him in the bag and dragged him out. Obviously, Taz was on commentary like he is for most Starks or Cage matches, so he's losing his shit on commentary. And then, out of nowhere, it just felt wasn't enough. Sting's just like pointing up to the crowd. He's like pointing at the other way. And people are like, what? You look around. And there's fucking Darby Allin zip-lining into the ring like OG Sting in fucking WCW. I'm like, yes, fuck yes. He just comes into the ring and he's got his skateboard prepped and he just starts beating people up. He doesn't do that whole awkward thing where he stands and takes the thing off. No, he just leaves himself tied to it, and he starts hitting everyone with his skateboard. Then he takes the thing off, and him and Sting are beating everyone up. It was great. Darby and Sting beat the crap out of Team Taz, sent them running. They looked strong as hell after getting the living shit beaten out of them last week. It was a great brawl. I can't wait for this street fight. It was like, fucking yes. I was loving it. Sting, like, in the ring, Sting hit the Stinger Splash and the Scorpion. I'm getting excited. The Scorpion Death Drop on Cage, revenge for last week, and it just added even more fire to this hardcore war they're going to be having at Revolution. Hell yes. I loved this. I thought it was great. I thought the match was fun. It was a really good match between Varsity and Cage and Starks, and yeah, the post-match between Sting, Darby, the Darby video, the smile, the cheesy grin in the video, just one from as soon as I seen Darby Allin smiling on the video, that smile, I was sold. I was like, that is so fucking cool. All these dudes smiling, and I was like, that is so fucking cool. That is so cool. Sip of coffee to try and cool down after this. I'm getting excited. It was a really good segment, that. ASMR, coffee drinking ASMR. This is why I don't record early on a Thursday normally. See, I can't even speak properly. This is maybe why I should do it on a Friday. But I digress. Yeah. So, next up, we had a backstage interview with Kip, Penelope, and Miro. I love Miro. Miro's freaking... Just give me Miro promos for an hour. Hell yes. I might have to start watching his Twitch channel, because that's maybe what that is. I'm maybe missing a trick on this. So they're all sitting down. Miro's just giving the promo. He just wants to beat everyone. Although he does say that he actually likes Charles, and he would like Charles to rather still be his butler as opposed to be fighting them, because he actually likes he likes Charles as opposed to that little Xanax kid, Orange Cassidy or whatever it was. I wasn't sure what the whole line was completely, but he just did call Orange Cassidy a little Xanax, which I thought was fucking hilarious. And he really wants to hurt him. Miro really wants to hurt Orange Cassidy. So, I mean, we're on some sort of long build here. We're going to be getting an Orange Cassidy versus Miro match in the future, but it's not going to be at Revolution. Because during the interview, whilst they're all... And I mean, they're sitting in a backstage thing. You've got, like, Miro, Kip, Penelope all on a sofa, and you've got Tony Schiavone here on another sofa. And a runner comes out from the backstage, and he's got a note, gives it to Tony. And the note says, like, Tony goes to read the note, and it says, "Will you wrestle us at Revolution? Circle yes or one," or something like that. Hugs and kisses. Orange and Chuck. One of the most immature letters you've ever heard of in your life. Miro just is like, "This is childish. Charles, you're not a child. You're a man. Come home. I will teach you to be a man." It's just brilliant. But yeah, regardless of whatever the note says or what people say or how much Miro wants to make Charles a man, the match is set for Revolution. It's going to be Chucky T and Orange Cassidy, two of the best friends versus Miro and Keep It Revolution. Fingers crossed. I'm holding up hope. Let's hope that Trent is back. And Trent question mark. I don't know why he's got that name, but that's his name. Let's hope Trent comes back. I would like to see him make a surprise appearance at Revolution, but who knows? Regardless of what happens, that match is going to be funny. Miro and Orange Cassidy is just such a good combination for a match. You add Chuck Taylor in there, he's fucking brilliant at what he does as well. This match has got fun written all over it. Will it be as good as the Best Friends versus Santana Ortiz street fight? Probably not, but it's not a street fight. It's not even in that sort of place on the card. This is just going to be a filler match on the card, but I think it's going to be a good match. So it's something I'm looking forward to, you know. Next up, we had a bit of a murder on the show. Cutler versus Jake Hager. Poor Cutler. He was never going to win, or even have a chance here, but I guess this somehow needed to happen. He felt he needed to fight Jake Hager, to fight for the honor of his friends, the Young Bucks. This match and this whole angle, like this match, I would say this match is just part of an angle. This is all to build heat to the MJF and Jericho versus the Bucks match at Revolution. As if you look at the past week's episodes and you look at what's been happening on it, really we have heard very little about this match, and we have seen little to no build from this match or for this match other than Jericho pushing the Bucks farther last week. That's literally the only bit of build we have had for this match. So we kind of needed this. We needed something. We needed a way to inject some sort of tension and heat into the Bucks versus Jericho and MJF match at Revolution, which of course it's a title match, so it is a big high stakes match, but there's been really not much of a feud in this match yet. And I mean, in this as well, we've got to remember that Cutler is one of AEW's main jobbers. He's a good guy, but he is one of the guys that loses a lot of matches. I don't think he was ever going to win this match. I don't think anyone ever thought he was going to win this match. Hager just threw him around the ring a bit, kicked him a few times, beat him soundly. Kudos to Cutler for trying. Like kayfabe, kudos to trying Cutler. Well done, I guess. He did have one nice little hope spot that included a tope and a dive to the outside, but really that was it. The end to this massacre came when Hager caught Cutler in midair. He countered that into his twisting spinebuster slam thing, which he followed by a massive, and I'm talking, he run the ropes like boing, 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 clothesline lariat. It was lovely. It was delicious. I absolutely loved it. But as we all know, I'm an absolute mark for clotheslines. So that was cool. Post-match, the Inner Circle came to the ring to make the save for Cutler, because obviously he was going to get beat up a bit more by Jake. Super kicks all around. The Inner Circle got run off. I mean, as soon as the match finished, the Inner Circle came to the ring as well to start the tension. So the Bucks ran in, made the save, super kicks, ba 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 ba. So whilst the Bucks were checking on Cutler, they grabbed a mic. Matt Jackson started. He called out Jericho and MJF. It's like, if you want to fight, you want to pick on people, we'll do it right now. Come on then, we're in the ring. And then Judas played over the thing, so obviously everyone's looking at the entranceway. They're looking for Jericho to come in. His entrance music's playing, but no, there's no Jericho. It goes on for a while, still no Jericho. We then cut to a backstage feed of Jericho and MJF. Now, I think it's cool. We have to mention that Jericho was basically wearing an Attitude Era. It's like, it looks like Attitude Era Jericho. You know, that's like the sort of stuff he would wear in the 90s or the early 2000s. It's a look, you know. It's an interesting shirt. What can we say? So yeah, we cut to the backstage camera, and it turns out that MJF and Jericho have beat the shit out of the Bucks father. He's all bloodied up, he's unconscious. They throw him off the back of the truck, which leaves this really nice artistic shot of the Bucks on the back of the truck with like their faces. I've got the blood off their dad on it. It was artistically a really nice shot. Really, really nice shot. So obviously the Bucks run to make the save, but as soon as they get to where MJF and Jericho was, they make their escape with the rest of the Inner Circle in a big fucking SUV type thing. You've got MJF shouting out the sunroof at them. We needed this. This angle needed this. Leading up to Revolution, it's like I was saying at the start of this segment, there hasn't been a lot of heat in this feud. There's not been a lot of meat on the bones to this feud. All we've had is a match, and it wasn't until this show that they actually mentioned that there were going to be a tag title match at Revolution. And if you listen to the last few shows, they've not even mentioned the tag title match on it. So it's good that they're giving more to this match and this angle. We needed it. It needed some tension. It needed some drama. And it makes the match at Revolution all that more interesting, you know, because it's not just about the belt. It's about the Bucks getting revenge. The Inner Circle are in their head now. They're in their head. They're doing things to them to annoy them. And who knows what stunt they'll pull next, you know? This could lead to MJF and Jericho taking the belts from them, which could be a good idea, you know? It could be good. If MJF and Jericho take the belts from them, let's say, due to some interference from someone in the Bullet Club or something like that, it would just add more tension to the other angles that's happening, and I think it could be good. And it would also give Jericho and MJF a chance to go about with the belts and be a real couple of pricks. Because that's what wrestling needs. We need pricks. After the break, we saw the ambulance taking the Bucks dad to the hospital. The commentary team were disgusted, and so was I, goddammit. So was I. This was followed by a quick... Why does that keep doing that? My notes keep going all over the shop when I press that button. I need to work out my hotkeys here. So, yeah. We then got a quick Shaq and Jade Cargill promo video. And this week, they're actually in a ring. Jade Cargill is wrestling. As you can see in the image, she is German suplexing some poor guy. We didn't see Shaq in the ring, but, I mean, do we need to? The commentators told us we should expect good things from Shaq, so I'm going to wait and see. I mean, like I've said over the past few weeks, I am waiting in bated breath. I am not super into the Shaq, Jade, Cody Red Velvet match that's coming up. I think the angle went a bit off the rails months ago, and I think they've been trying to save it, and I am still very cautious over saying it will be good or saying it will be bad, because I mean, it could go either way. Shaq could come in and be freaking amazing. We just don't know. Like, it could go either way. All we know at the moment is that Cody's banged up, Red Velvet's really quite green, Jade, we don't have a clue what she's like, but we do know that WWE wanted her, and Shaq is Shaq. He's not a wrestler, but he's a giant, and he's a big giant, so he doesn't really need to wrestle, he can just throw people around. I really hope I am proven wrong on my thoughts for this match. Really, really, really hope I am proven wrong on it. I want it to be good. I don't want wrestling to be bad. I don't like, especially shows I like. I want it to be good, you know? So let's hope that match is saved. Let's hope something happens. And hey, for all we know, next week it could change into Shaq versus Big Show. Or it could change and lead into a Shaq versus Big Show match, which would be really quite cool. It's a match that the wrestling world has wanted for years. It's a match we thought we were going to get, but we didn't get. Maybe AEW can make this match happen. You know, maybe there was more to it not happening. Maybe it was nothing to do with Big Show and Shaq. Maybe it was Vinnie Mac just wanting things that couldn't happen. We don't know this. We just don't know. So next up on tonight's show, we had quite a good match. It was Isaiah Cassidy versus... I'm going to say that again. Isaiah Cassidy versus Hangman Page. So Cassidy and Matt Hardy came out to the ring with TH2. Now, we're unsure if TH2 have took up Hardy's offer and they've signed up with the Hardy brand, or if they're just doing this for another $3,700. That was the offer last week. Who knows? I guess we're going to have to keep watching and find out. I think TH2 probably will go with the Hardy brand, and it would be good in the long run, because it looks like Hangman's going to be having teaming up with the Dark Order. If we've got Hardy with his faction, we'll get into this in a second. You know, before the match, we get reminded about the money match, which is coming up at Revolution between Hangman Page and Hardy, where the winner gets the opponent's first quarter 2021 earnings. Yeah, it's a strange one, that one, but I'm looking forward to it. At the start of the match, Cassidy jumped Hangman at the bell, but Hangman quickly took control and looked like the usual star he is. Nothing flashy, well, except for Hangman and his latent flash. He is really, really, really bloody great. Hangman had a bit of a verbal with Hardy, but nothing major came from it at this point. Hardy spent most of the match looking like he was looking for his moment to attack Hangman, which I thought was kind of cute. His moment came when TH2 managed to get the referee Audrey distracted, and Hardy managed to get some attacks in on Hangman. Boo. But Silver and Reynolds came out to make the save and even the odds for Hangman. What happened was they ran out to ringside, and they basically told on Matt Hardy, they told Audrey, look, what the hell? Matt Hardy's attacking him. Look, Hangman's down over there. Hardy's there. Are you watching, ref? And Audrey, being the great referee, she's like, you're gone. Matt was ejected. Great refereeing. I mean, TH2 were still allowed to be there, but I'm going to take that. She got rid of Matt. That was good officiating. Silver and Reynolds also stayed to make sure it was a fair fight. So, as the match went on, Cassidy got some heat on Hangman. Now, this was good. It was slow. It was methodical. It was a complete change to the usual private party-esque offense we are used to seeing from them as faces. This was proper, good heel work. He slowed it down. He did nothing flashy. Just beat down on him. Great. It's a little thing. It's just, but I really liked it. All too often, you'll see people turning heel, but they'll forget that they're heel and they'll keep doing good guy stuff. A great example of that's Pac. When he's a heel, he doesn't do the Black Arrow. He doesn't do the flashy shit. He'll not do it because he knows you're not supposed to do that as a heel. The good guy does the flashy shit. The good guy gets over on the flashy shit. That's the way it should always be. So yeah, I really liked that Cassidy toned down his work and just worked like a good old-fashioned bad guy. It was really good. His future is massively bright, as his private part is. Hangman quickly fired back though. changed the momentum by clotheslining Cassidy with the ropes. It was followed by a slick rolling elbow, and I mean, this rolling elbow would have been good enough to end the match. It was just fantastic. If Audrey had called it here, I would not have been disappointed. Hangman's comeback was great, and it not only included the elbow, but he did the Death Valley Driver and the Brainbuster, all looking rough as hell and brilliant. Yeehaw! Why did I write that in the script? I don't know. That's me trying to be funny. The match, whilst pretty formulaic, it was, it was a by the numbers match, but it always seemed like a battle from the start. It was competitive, and I always like it when it feels competitive. Now, it should be mentioned that during the match, Hangman had been selling his arm throughout the match. Cassidy managed to get his arm tied up in the rope in the start of the match, and it really started coming into play in the match. It looked like they were really Cassidy was really trying to injure Hangman's arm. At the start of the match, like I said, he managed to cut his rope on the arm there, and there was another bit in the match where he managed to block a lariat attempt with a big kick again onto the injured arm, which he followed up by a poison rana onto Hangman unexpectedly, which is really cool. At this point, with Hangman selling the match with the work going in on Hangman's arm, it really felt like it was anyone's at this point, because it felt like Hangman was being weakened, But the finish came soon after. Cassidy went for a springboard destroyer, but Hangman caught him on his back, got him into position, and hit the reverse pile driver dead-eye finish thing. Boom, 1, 2, 3, end. It was a good match. I feel like Hangman's arm getting injured could be setting up a bit of an injury angle going into Revolution. The injured hero overcoming a ruthless bastard is always a good story, and it's always, when the good guy wins over the bastards, it's always a good end to a story. Although it's anyone's. This match coming up at Revolution's anyone's at the moment. Thankfully, we don't have long to wait. It's only 10 days away? Yay. After the match, he was joined by Silver and Reynolds. It was good. Hardy's voice then appeared over the sound system. Everyone's looking confused. What? Where's Hardy speaking from? Basically, Hardy started saying that you have chose the Dark Order you have chose the Dark Order over Matt Hardy, and now you will all pay, every member of the Dark Order. Hardy then appears out of the good guy entrance with a chair and the battered and beaten 5 Allen Angels. Poor Allen Angels. Hardy then proceeds to throw 5 off the stage through the timekeeper's table. It's like, that table is on a bit of a run now, eh? That's 2 weeks in a row, maybe 3, that it's been broken by someone throwing off it. Poor table. Hardy and Cassidy made their exit whilst Hangman, Silver and Reynolds chased away the bad guys, then checked on Angels to make sure he wasn't dead. It was a really fun match. Much like the Bucks match, they're adding some nice touches to the Revolution match. They're adding some nice story, some nice drama. And not only that, but it's like I said at the start, it looks like this is turning into a bit of a faction war. So, I mean, the Hardy versus Hangman match looks like it's not going to be the end in the slightest, because we've got Hangman going with the Dark Order, and with Hardy, Hardy's got Private Party now. It looks like he's got TH2 on side as well. Could we be seeing the build of a Hardy faction, and we're going to see them go to war with the Dark Order? I don't know, but I hope it happens. That would be really freaking cool. And I mean, the setup a match for next week, it's going to be the Dark Order. I believe it's Uno, Reynolds, 5, Silver Reynolds versus Private Party, TH2 and Matt Hardy. So we've already got our first faction-y sort of war thing coming in, just without Hangman involved. So that's cool. I mean, I could see that going to where the Dark Order keeps getting beaten up by Hardy and his people, and the Dark Order are like, look, we need a leader, we need someone to help us through this. Hangman gets made the new leader of the Dark Order, and they go forward, kick the bad guys' asses, everyone wins, Dark Order rules, Hangman is a legend. I could see it going that way. It'd be good if it does. I really think it'd be good if it does. So next up, we had a brilliant Kenny Omega promo. We go to a workshop where an overalled, unmasked up Kenny Omega is just hammering away at stuff. He's hammering at a desk. He's working like a real workman. So Callis first, he's like, whoa, you can't be here. It turns out that they're working on the exploding barbed wire gimmicks for the exploding barbed wire death match. I love that Kenny is making the explosive gimmicks for this match. I mean, why the fuck not? Has anyone ever thought who makes the explosive barbed wire panels for these matches? I mean, you don't go to the explosive barbed wire deathmatch board shop, do you? Someone's got to make these things. And apparently Kenny Omega's making his own ones for the match. Why the fuck not? I loved it. Kenny says he wants to say he did it. So he is making the tripwires and the traps himself. So he gets the satisfaction of blowing Moxley up with his own work. He's a maniac. He means business. This was both hilarious and scary. I mean, let's be honest. The gimmick of the barbed wire death match, exploding barbed wire death match, whilst overtly violent, is pretty fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's great that they take the violence in the match seriously, but it's also, I think it's heartwarming that Kenny's being shown to make the explosive traps yourself. I mean, that's the ridiculous sides of the match no one ever thinks about, and I like that they're adding storyline to the parts of the match where people wouldn't ever normally think about. And they're doing it in a way that seems a bit funny, but at the same time it's like, fuck, Kenny wants to kill him. Like, what the hell? It's great. It's wrestling, you know? It's fucking wrestling, and I really like it. We all know the deal, but for once we're being told the deal. We're being told where the traps are made. Not only that, can you imagine what happens if any of these traps don't explode? Kenny Omega's going to get all the blame for them, which is doubly hilarious. This segment was fun, but I can assure you that health and safety... Well, I mean, I was going to say they'd be annoyed, but they're going to be very happy that Kenny was wearing overalls and a mask. So he was taking his work seriously, doing his work in a safe manner. I loved it. I thought it was great. Next up, we had Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose. Now, this was a semi-final in the AEW Women's Tournament US bracket. So this is the first semi-final of two. The next one, I think we see on Sunday or Monday night. Now, before the match, we are shown clips from the previous rounds of matches, which were shown on YouTube. You should really go and watch them. I have not reviewed the second round of the Japanese bracket yet, but I will be doing it later this week. Go and watch them. It was an amazing show. Now, I've seen the matches already. I just haven't done the watch-along/review yet. Emi Sakura versus Sakazaki match was brilliant. Aja Kong versus Ryo Mizunami was also brilliant, just in a completely different way. The matches are well worth going out your way to watch. I would go and do that. Just go and do it. Don't pause this video and do it. Do it after this video. Please, watch this till the end. Going into this match, whilst we know it could be good, no, I mean, but like the last 3 weeks of Dynamite, we've had some stellar women's matches on the show. Now, I know that with Nyla Rose and Britt Baker, there is a chance it may not hit the same heights as the last 3 weeks' matches. Not to be negative towards them all, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? The people that have had matches in the last 3 weeks have been absolutely brilliant, and they've wrestled their socks off. Now, that said, I am a big Nyla Rose fan. The way she carries herself off, the way she moves in the ring, screams, I'm a wrestler. She got it. It's like she's just naturally got it. The only flaw I have ever really seen with Nyla Rose's work is that she's often quite generous with her opponents. You know, like, she's a monster. She doesn't need to give anyone any offense. She should be steamrolling people. And I feel that sometimes she's a bit too generous. She lets people get too much offense in over the monster. But she's very early in her career, and she is really good. So this is something we may see get left at the side as we move on into the future. So the match started with Nyla all over Britt. Britt threw a hissy fit, went for a walk, throwing stuff around ringside, blah, 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 just being in a mood. When she got back into the ring, she got more of a beating from Nayla. It was good. It was what it was. Britt was set up for a corner cannonball at one point, but Rebel pulled her out of the way. Now, the referee totally saw this, but did not eject Rebel. Why? Who knows? I mean, did none of them watch the match that had literally just happened before, where someone got caught interfering and ejected? I mean, I would have rather the refs are a bit consistent with these sorts of rules, but I mean, I don't mind these sort of consistencies all the time. Just not when they're in back-to-back freaking matches, you know what I mean? Because I don't know. I'm not into that. Don't make the same thing twice in a match. You know what I mean? I would have rather she got ejected there, but I guess they needed her for later on in the match. As the match went on, Britt got heat on Nayla, which is something I never really believe in that much. Just as I said, due to Nyla's size and her strength. Sure, she kept fighting back. She never showed that she was out or anything. She never showed that Britt had full control over her. But she was still on her knees or her back the whole time taking a beating. And I just do not think Nayla should be taking so much offense by someone so much smaller than her, no matter how good that person is. I mean, it is a high-stakes match, so I mean, it's all good that they've got the competitive edge to it and all, but then there's still the whole reality side of things. You've got to suspend belief. It's hard to see someone with such a weight difference putting up such a competitive match. You know what I mean? That's just me, though. It wasn't a bad match. I just think Nayla should be beating people up a bit more. So whilst Nayla was down, Britt ripped the turnbuckle off. And again, the ref seen this happening, but did nothing. We then went to a break. No picture-in-picture for this match. It was at this point I realised we were almost an hour and a quarter into the show. And I was like, whoa, this show went... It was just like last week's, it just flew past. Which, is that not what you want from a wrestling show? If 2 hours flies past like that, it means it was really, really good and that you weren't sitting thinking about nothing at any point of the match. That means you were always engrossed in it. That's what you want. Time passes faster when you're having fun. That's totally true. I've never known that to be not true. And I felt that again in this show. I felt that last week as well. It got to a point where I was like, man, this is just going really fast. Looked at my clock and I was like, whoa. So that was cool. We came back from the break. Nayla was superplexing Britt. And by hell, Britt looked like she landed hard on this. And then she managed to counter it straight into a suplex of her own, which was impressive. I will give her it. It was impressive, especially after that bump. But I don't think we needed it. We were told that during the break, Britt and her nasty ways managed to put a bit of a beating on Nayla. She worked over her arm and stuff like that, put her into the turnbuckle, but it is what it is. I do wish that we'd got a picture-in-picture and seen what happened at the middle parts of this match, but some things we will just never see. So Nayla managed to fire back up on Britt, which had the fans a bit confused, because obviously... this match was a bit strange. It's a competition match, so they're fighting for a place in a tournament. But at the same time, they're both heels, you know what I mean? It's a bad guy versus bad guy match. So when Nayla started firing back, the crowd were booing. I think the crowd were more on Britt's side than Nyla's side, which is strange because I think Nayla was more... Nayla was definitely the face in the match. Nyla's the one that had the face comeback. She got the bumping... She got the clothesline whilst Britt was bumping and feeding and stuff like that. But I think it confused the fans. You could hear that the fans in the arena were booing Nayla when she was doing a good guy comeback. So can't really be avoided. It's a tournament match. You're always going to get this sort of thing. It was interesting that Nayla was the one working heel whilst Britt was working the face. I think it would have probably been better if Nayla was working as just the overt monster heel and Britt was the one trying to get the sympathy, but I guess she just doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to be any sort of a face in any sort of way. And that is pretty fair, I guess. So the finish to this was a bit long-winded. It started with Britt staggering Nayla using the exposed turnbuckle and some kicks. This then led to a few lockjaw attempts, both of which were countered. Nayla then took control And after what seemed like a small bit of mistiming or just someone being tired, she hit a beast bomb. But she only got a 2 count. And then there was a bit of a struggle there. I don't know why Britt kicked out of the beast bomb, but she did. And then she just got another beast bomb, 1, 2, 3 finish. I don't know why they had the second beast bomb in it. There was really no need for it other than to try and make Britt look like she is an absolute monster that can take a stupid amount of beatings, which, again, if that is the case, that is fair, I guess, but I don't think it was needed. Thankfully, between the first beast bomb and the second beast bomb, there was only like a couple of seconds. It wasn't like they had another fucking whole heat segment between it, so there's nothing really to complain about. It was 2 power bombs in pretty quick succession. It was the end of the match. Nayla advances to the finals of the American bracket of the tournament, where she will face either Rio or Thunder Rosa. That match is coming up very soon. So let us get to the next. So we've got next week. It's not even like, do you remember how even just a month ago, these next week bits, it was just like next week on Dynamite and it was just matches. Now we've got like, this is insane. Like, so next week on Sunday, so I think this is this Sunday coming up, on Bleacher Report. I know, I'm that's BR Live, isn't it? I don't really know that much. I'm going to have to check it out. They will be airing the Thunder Rosa versus Rio match. That is the other semi-final in the American bracket for the Women's Championship Tournament, which will be fantastic, by the way. This match will be awesome. The BR Live show will also feature the Japanese bracket finals, where Yuka Sakazaki and Ryo Mizunami will face each other. And I've seen this advertised somewhere else, but I didn't see it mentioned on the show here for some reason. I don't know why. I believe there's going to be there's a 6-man tag coming up with the competitors from the Japanese bracket. So that's mind just went black. Aja Kong, Mizunami, Sakazaki, Emi Sakura. Oh, what are they called? I have so much of them. I'm not going to try because there's too much names to remember and I don't have them on hand. Just know that there's a 6-woman tag coming up match as well, and that should be cool. Maki Ito said she would get revenge for Britt Baker for Rio breaking her nose, or someone breaking her nose. It might have been Sakazaki that broke her nose. I can't remember, but regardless, Maki Ito is going to get revenge for Britt Baker. It'll be worth watching. I'm going to definitely watch it. I don't know how to watch it. I don't know how to watch BR Live. I'll find out and I'll let you know. Keep an eye on the Voice Britannia YouTube for answers. So, where's my stupid notes? So yeah, on Monday, so we're all still in the next week section here. On Monday, right? AEW's new YouTube show will debut. That's AEW Dark Elevation. This show will be hosted by Tony Schiavone and the Big Show, Paul White, who they mention has a wrestling license. So he can still wrestle. And I absolutely love that they say he has a wrestling license. Because it's like, you can't just be a wrestler. You've got to be qualified. You've got to get a license to wrestler. Yes! Anything that validates wrestling as a real thing, I am all about. So, licensed wrestlers, yes, something I'm all for. So, next week's Dynamite, it is the Crossroads edition of Dynamite. FTR and Tully Blanchard will face the entire Jurassic Express. So, we are shown a quick video with the history of the current feud between the FTR and the Jurassic Express. The gist of this promo is that FTR think they're better than the Jurassic Express, but the Jurassic Express have proven that they're better than the FTR on multiple occasions. The best line of this promo was Marco Stunt saying that the FTR think they kidnapped the weak link in the team. It's like, aren't they the top guys? Aren't they able to do top guy shit? I loved it. Marco in this promo was great. The FTR really sold that having Tully on their team is an advantage, and they said that even an old Tully Blanchard is miles better than anyone in the Jurassic Express. It might be true, it might not be. We'll have to wait and see. This is going to be an interesting match. I mean, I say it's going to be an interesting match. I don't in any way think this is going to be the end of this angle. I think this angle was going to continue for quite a bit. Yeah, so on next week's show, we also have a press conference. We've got MJF and Jericho, a Revolution press conference. We are told we will hear from Paul White. Shaq and Jade Cargill will face Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. Finally, we will see the the match I was talking about earlier, the Dark Order versus Matt Hardy Private Party TH2. And there will be a Revolution ladder match qualifier between Dark Order 10 and Max Caster. And, of course, we're also told that Kip and Miro will face the Best Friends. Now, I just need to check on something. I'll be back in one moment. Oh, it has been distraction central in the studio today, has it? Whoa. We're getting there in the end, though. We're at the last segment of the show, so we don't need to worry about it. 5 more minutes, then people can interrupt us as much as they want. I will be doing nothing. So the main event for tonight's show, Rey Fenix versus Lance Archer. As was said already, this was a high-stakes match, with the winner getting a place in the face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution. Both men are strong competitors. JR says this has got Match of the Year candidate written all over it. I do not disagree with that. I mean, before I watched a single bump of this match, because I write these reviews as I'm watching them, I wrote that there will be way too much to mention in this match. Phoenix matches are hard to write about at times, and usually they are tag team affairs, which means we only get small bursts of Phoenix that we have to follow and write about. But this was a main event. This was a singles match. We were going to be getting a good 20 minutes of Phoenix versus Archer. This is going to be a challenge to cover without speaking about the match for 50 minutes. So I will do my best to clarify the match down. And yes, before we go any further, the term clarify means to cook butter down. Braun Strowman is thick as fucking mince. End of discussion. So the match started out with a strike battle. There was a lot of strike battles in this match. There was so much chops and big hits in this match. It was fucking great. Lance was hitting Phoenix, but he was taking it and chopping the ever-living shit back out of Lance in return. Strong stuff. Phoenix tried to do his 619 whip roundhouse kick thing a few times, but it was blocked with these both times. Now, when I say that, that's instead of hitting the ring, Ray will run at the ropes, right? And instead of hitting the ropes, he jumps at them like he's doing a 619, and he uses that momentum to come out, and he comes out in a roundhouse kick. That's what I mean when I say 619 whip roundhouse kick. I just wanted to say that because it's fucking. I'm coming out with crazy phrases here. But it was blocked both times. The action in this match eventually went to the outside, and Phoenix hit his, I call it the Lightspeed Tope con Hilo. It's the one where he does the Tope con Hilo and lands basically sitting on the barrier. He's absolutely one of the best in the world. It's just fucking amazing, so he is. If you need any more proof of how good Phoenix is, you just need to watch this next segment. So, right, this next little sequence was fucking ace. I wrote that Bryce was the referee here. It wasn't Bryce, it was the other guy. It's in all the Bucks matches. So anyway, I digress. This sequence started with Lance was staggered on the outside. Phoenix goes to the top rope, but the referee is down checking on Lance. Whilst Phoenix is on the top rope, Jake, because obviously Jake Roberts was at ringside with Lance Archer like he always is, he climbs up and he grabs onto Phoenix's foot on the top rope. Now, instead of just falling off the top rope or struggling like people normally would do in that sort of situation, Phoenix tries to walk out of Jake's grasp. So, like, you think about, he's held like that with one hand. He tries to, like, walk out of it. You know, like you would try and walk out of something if your foot was trapped in mud or something. Phoenix tries to walk along the fucking top rope to walk out of Jake Roberts' grasp. And of course it doesn't work. And he face plants onto the entrance ramp. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, even just that was just genius. It's just like, it was so much more realistic than what would normally happen when someone gets their feet caught on the top rope. It's fucking brilliant. So, like, Phoenix face plants, he's down there. Jake Roberts, to cover the fact that he wasn't doing anything, he instantly turns his back to Phoenix, bends down and starts checking on Lance with the referee. Fucking such good psychology in this match, in this segment. It was just brilliant. So, whilst Jake Roberts is bent over checking on Lance, Phoenix gets up, does a diving fucking flip senton over the top of Jake Roberts into Lance. I fucking could not believe it. I could not believe it. I was like, this is so fucking good. It is so good. Archer is just on fire at the moment. Phoenix is on fire. This match was bloody brilliant. We then got another Archer Phoenix strike battle, and I mean, these guys can hit. Like, Phoenix's chops are savage. They were covered in bruises, welts, all sorts of bloody marks. And I mean, this is still in the early portion of the match. During the break, they fought a bit more on the outside. Archer ran into a ring post, then Phoenix ran into Archer's foot. There were no rest holds during the break or the picture-in-picture. They went at it hard. These are not guys who do rest holds during commercial breaks. They just fucking went for it. Now, Phoenix took most of that offence in this match. As you would expect, it was the little guy versus big guy. This is probably one of the best little guy versus big guy matches I've ever seen. It is so good. And, like, Phoenix took most of the offence, but he never looked down, he never looked out, and he never looked like he didn't have a chance. Always fighting back, always showing that he was alive. Coming back from the break, Archer was firmly in control, you know what I mean? Felix tried to do something on the ropes, but ended up getting clotheslined out of his very being onto the apron before being thrown around ringside a bit more. Man, there was like so much good to this. Like, Archer, like, after throwing Phoenix off all the barriers at ringside, Archer sat Phoenix up against one of the barriers, so he's like, oh. And he does a rolling senton splash on him out the outside. It's like, Jesus fuck. I was like, what the hell? So, like, this is where This Is Awesome chant starts. And, I mean, this match really did deserve it. It was awesome. The match got back in the ring, and Phoenix took even more of a beating. At points, he looked out of it. Now, I've commented on Phoenix's facial selling before, and this match is just no exception. There was one point where Phoenix was like perched on the bottom rope, like the face pointing outwards, which in itself is brilliant because he's showing his face to the audience and the camera. He's showing his face as much as he could. He just got... He looked fucking brilliant. This is selling so good. I was waiting for... Like, at this point, I'm like, man, it's coming. The Phoenix fire-up's coming. We're going to see something cool. And I thought, this match was really good. So Phoenix then got Germaned. He landed on his head. I was like, fucking hell. It looked absolutely brutal. But it never stopped him. He got right back up and just started trying to fight back. It was like, Phoenix is the personification of babyface fire. It's like, he is amazing. If you're a good guy in wrestling, you want to be the best good guy in wrestling, you need to watch Phoenix. You need to watch how he keeps himself alive in a match. You know what I mean? He's a littler guy. He'll let people beat the shit out of him, but he never dies. You know what I mean? He never shows that he's not there. Always in the match. The finish to this just outstanding match came after Phoenix had staggered Archer on the ropes and hit his run along the ropes football punt kick to Archer's head, which, again, amazing. This was followed by the move I will describe as a Miss Moonsault Backsault Stunner. Yeah, a Miss Moonsault Backsault Stunner. What do I mean that? It is the move where Phoenix goes to the top rope, he does a moonsault press, obviously a miss, lands on his feet, goes right back into a back roll, jumps up and hits the stunner. It's fucking amazing. And he did that, but it could only get a 2 count. Archer then hit a gigantic fisherman buster on Phoenix for a 2 count, but that was not the biggest move of the fucking night. Of course, Archer hit his top rope moonsault press. That was not even the biggest move of the night. The picture up there is like, what? The biggest move of the night was just like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So, like, Archer, they were fighting up to the top turnbuckle, right? Archer managed to pull Phoenix up to the top rope, and he was going to give him a choke slam from the top rope, which in itself would have been amazing. But once they started getting up, Phoenix started fighting back. Looked like he was going to fall over, but he stopped himself. The guy's brilliant. Got back up. And he managed to counter this into a Spanish fucking fly on Archer. I mean, as much credit goes to Archer for this. I could not believe in the height these two guys got. Like, as you can see here, right? They have got fucking air. Like, this was something else. I could not believe what I saw. Like, outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. This got a 2 count, 2.5. The Archer then got up. He hit a buckle bomb and then a choke slam. Time was starting to run out. Commentators at this point were starting to say, time's running out. We're going to run out of time. This could be a draw. So things needed to hurry up and we needed to go because we're getting off the air. But then we led to it. Archer managed, after a little bit more fighting, Archer managed to set Phoenix up for the black hole or whatever it's called. Hit the finish, the blackout finish, got the win. Archer progresses to the into the Face of the Revolution ladder match. This match is going to be fucking great. This match is going to be great. This match on it, Phoenix versus Archer was outstanding. It was as good as I thought it would be. Like, AEW are on a roll when it comes to main event matches. I don't think they have had a main event match or ended on an angle that's been shit in months now. Like, seriously, months. And this was just fucking great. As the show was going off air, we got this really, really cool moment. So, as you can see in the picture above, Archer bent down, picked up Phoenix by the mask, and at first he's like that. And then Phoenix is like, but then you can see he was actually going for the fist bump. They go off air with Phoenix and Archer fist bumping. Archer has nothing but respect for Phoenix. Phoenix has respect for Archer. They're actually really good as a team. I mean, we've got Phoenix as part of Death Triangle, right? But he's also friends with Moxley and Archer. So, like, you've got Death Triangle, but Death Triangle are kind of allies of Archer and Moxley. There are big battle lines being divided in AEW. I love how the factions are even more factionalized, especially when you think that this could, like, at any moment, AEW, Impact, NJPW, all that sort of shit could come together into one massive factional war. So it's good to see all this stuff building up. It's good to see this sort of stuff happening. And yeah, to sum up tonight's episode, it was really, 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 really good. Was it as good as last week? No. But in some ways it was better. Storytelling wise, it was really good that we got some more story for, like, the Bucks match. We got some more drama for the Hangman match. But the women's match wasn't as good as the last 3 weeks have been. That said, it was still a very good match. So I wouldn't say the women's match was bad. It wasn't as good as the last 3 weeks' matches. And again, like I said then, that's all down to my personal preference. I just think monsters should be monstrous. So, that is me done for another week. I can't believe this is done, recorded and out on a Thursday, not even a Friday or a Saturday. I guess that means I'll be playing video games on Friday on Twitch. Hell yes. So tell me what you thought of today's episode and today's review in the comments below, or send us a tweet at Voice Britannia. Remember, if you're not following us on Twitch or YouTube, do it. If you're not subscribing to any of us anywhere, do it. If you've got anything you want me to say on stream, feel free to send it to me at Voice Britannia or to my personal Twitter account at Steve Smith VB. But for me today, I'm going to go and enjoy the sun. I mean, it's only 9 degrees outside, but I'm going to enjoy it, God damn it. This is what happens when you come from Aberdeen. You enjoy every bit of sun you can get. Have a lovely life, have a lovely day, have a lovely evening. Take it easy, and I'll see you all in a few days' time. Bye.